2025 is really ramping up with some incredible game releases on both Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, and the open world scene is getting a ton of love for this year so far. From great games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 alongside Atomfall, there have been some absolutely gorgeous worlds for us to get lost in. Today I'll be covering 15 of these brand new open world games coming to Xbox, with quite a few of them also coming to Xbox Game Pass. So make sure you keep an eye out for the Xbox Game Pass icon on screen now to see which ones are coming to the service. With that though, my name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive right into the gorgeous open worlds coming our way. First up, I had to include one of my most anticipated games of this May, and that has to be Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. The game is really being hyped up for this month, and for very good reason, as the team over at Awakened Realms are in essence creating a game that is equal parts Skyrim and also Souls-like, and so far it's getting enormous praise in the early access phase. This one though is set in a dark reimagination of Arthurian legends, and is a fully fledged first-person open-world RPG. From my own personal experience in playing it in the early access period, and also doing some more digging, it's absolutely exhilarating in the best way possible. I actually really love the combat here, alongside that deep customization and also extensive skill tree options. I got really sucked into the gameplay loop we saw with Skyrim and Oblivion, where you wonder what's out on the horizon and just keep on exploring. I will be doing a review for this one, and it will be out on a channel just prior to launch, so make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on this upload. I have a very strong feeling that The Outer Worlds 2 will be the jewel in Obsidian's crown when it comes to both Xbox and Xbox Game Pass later this year, as everything that we've seen so far from early previews and also trailers looks astonishing, and everything that we kind of want from the sequel to the first entry. Of course, as we come to expect, there will be all the witty corporate satire and over-the-top characters, but this time it's in a brand new star system and will contain all new characters that we've never seen before. A big highlight which Obsidian has actually touched on briefly is that the combat here is being massively improved from the original entry, giving us more flexibility with our own loadouts and bringing more havoc if we want to pursue that route. We are due to see more on The Outer Worlds 2 at the Xbox Showcase this June, with a dedicated section like we did with Starfield and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I really anticipate that this is going to be a massive highlight this year for Xbox, and it's already been a huge year so far for Team Green. Now, as you may have seen, I've been gushing over this next game on the channel quite a few times, and I even mentioned it in the single player games coming soon video which I did last week, but I cannot miss it off this list of open world games. Crimson Desert is really shaping up to be a special game, not only in terms of a single player experience, but because the size and detail of this open world is absolutely staggering. The devs have mentioned that the world is so vast and detailed thanks to their proprietary engine called Black Space. This engine seems to have hyper-realistic interactivity at the top of the list, and this bleeds into everything from combat to the environments. You can essentially throw your enemies into walls, spikes, or just anything else to deal some damage. The Zelda reactor in my brain also reacted again when we got to see climbing, as you can scale anything here, from enemies, buildings, trees, and so much more. The world of Crimson Desert looks incredible, alongside the combat and the really interesting story that Pearl Abyss are piecing together. This one does come out sometime towards the end of 2025. One game that I know quite a few of you might not be aware of is called Exoborne. This is a game for those of you who love a mix of fast-paced action and RPG-style progression in an open world. It's set in a world that is ravaged by both natural disasters and violent storms, and you'll be playing as a soldier outfitted with high-tech exoskeleton suits that give you the power to take on incredibly dangerous missions. What makes Exoborne stand out from the crowd though is its combination of action and customization. You'll be able to upgrade your own exosuit, unlocking new abilities, and then using that power to take down enemies and explore some hostile environments. The game here is very fast, brutal, and dynamic, and every mission feels like a high-risk, high-reward situation. If you're into action-packed shooters with a touch of RPG elements, Exoborne is going to be a must-play for this year. It's not long now and only a couple of weeks away until we get our hands on Elden Ring Nightreign, and for me, I cannot wait to dive into this new world From Software are bringing to us with my friends. Instead of a single player experience like other FromSoft games, this one is now multiplayer only, which was certainly a shock for many. As you can see right now on screen, combat in this game has been retooled to reward timing and your teamwork, where perfectly syncing attacks can unleash some powerful chain abilities. Traversal has also seen some new additions as well, like short-range gliding to access areas previously out of reach. Limveld is the new map that we'll be exploring this time around, and it's a dreamlike setting in which the land is draped in an eternal shroud of twilight. It looks to be populated by a ton of grotesque creatures and remnants of forgotten factions still locked in different conflicts. We will have to piece together Limveld's dark history, choosing to either confront or align with different fractured factions in this grim dark odyssey. Wheel World looks like an incredibly unique indie title coming from Devolver Digital, and they seem to have a real knack for bringing us these indie titles that turn into massive gems or juggernauts. This is a bold indie adventure set against a vibrant backdrop that's known as Free Hub City. In this semi-open world adventure, you will assume the role of a young rider on a mission to revive the last of the ghost bikes, and these are essentially mystical couriers that once bridged the realms of the living and the dead. You will be tasked here with repairing and maintaining your own trusty bike, and then you'll engage in high-octane races and skill challenges against spectral opponents. The game looks to also seamlessly blend exploration alongside resource management and dynamic racing, all presented in a visually stunning, almost dreamlike art style. Each victory will restore lost power to your own ghost bike, basically gradually unveiling secrets of the entire afterworld. Annapurna Interactive's signature storytelling and innovative mechanics, Wheel World is looking like a promising, surreal, emotionally charged ride that will keep you yearning for more. You can look out for this enchanting journey when it comes to Xbox Game Pass as a day one title in summer this year. Next up is Jumpship, and this is also set for early access in summer via Xbox Game Preview. This one's actually developed by alumni from Hazelight and Mojang, but this title looks to blend spaceship command with on-foot FPS action in a more seamless mission-based co-op experience. Imagine yourself coordinating with up to 3 friends as you navigate between piloting your very own spaceship and engaging in very intense ground combat. The trailers we've seen so far shows us players juggling different roles, one handling the helm, another managing repairs or firefighting, while other teammates board enemy vessels to secure valuable resources and different blueprints. It's also got that tongue-in-cheek humour which infuses bombastic action with a light-hearted vibe, making every mission here look very entertaining as it is challenging. There also seems to be rapid transitions here with strategic teamwork really at its core, and Jumpship promises to keep you on the edge of your seat as you explore, battle and survive in chaotic space environments. So far, everything I'm seeing with Borderlands 4 is getting me quite excited, especially as it's giving me massive Borderlands 2 vibes in the best way possible, and let's be honest, Borderlands 2 was the high point of the series. But over the last week, Gearbox has revealed a slew of new details about the entire package, from improvements to the co-op, which are massively needed and great to see, but also more info regarding the open world and what we can expect within the world of Borderlands. There seems to be a larger emphasis this time around on making sure each world has a ton of activities for us to dive into and making it feel more alive with a ton more enemies as well as NPC interactions. There is also a very big design decision that was made to increase the verticality of each world, so we can now expect climbing up walls, flying and so much more, and to be honest, the idea of combat while gliding through the sky has me absolutely pumped. It's looking great from what we've seen so far, and it's not launching too far away, as Gearbox actually moved up the date to early September this year. Subnautica 2 is coming this year and is looking to up the ante for this franchise by introducing full cooperative with our friends. Oh, and it's also coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass. We finally saw some gameplay for the very first time a couple of weeks ago. If you're like me, then you did probably miss the developers showed off gameplay of Subnautica 2, as it really went under the radar and kind of occurred out the blue. Unknown Worlds really shared some early footage as part of its Road to Early Access developer video here on YouTube, in which Subnautica 2 design lead Anthony Gallegos offered a small taste of things to come across the update's brief runtime. During his little bit of chatter, we got a bit more of a tease of the new environments, including what appears to be the Subnautica 2 equivalent of the first game's safe shallows and a bioluminescent underground area. We also got a peek at cooperative swimming and base building, and to be honest, the overall package so far is looking incredibly good. Whilst No Man's Sky created a universe with billions upon billions of procedurally generated planets, Light No Fire zooms up close and personal to the workings of a single half-crafted and automatically procedural generation planet. But don't let this one planet fool you. Ostensibly called Multiplayer Earth by its creators, the designers proposed something vast enough to span hundreds of millions of square miles and the real equivalent area needed to accommodate Earth's population. It's not just a sandbox, it's a continent-spanning wilderness wilderness with oceans as deep and dark as ours, and mountains towering far beyond what one usually sees in these sort of games. In this game though, you'll be collecting rare materials to craft different tools and work with others to defend against environmental hazards and establish settlements that evolve over time. The social dynamics of Light No Fire make it such a standout in this survival genre, and the open world here looks utterly gorgeous. It's still got a release date of 2025, so I'm hoping we see more at the Xbox Showcase this June. From the studio behind Metroid Dread, Blades of Fire is an intense action-adventure game that fuses fast-paced combat, deep strategy and cinematic storytelling in a beautiful open world. As a bit of an overview, and upon doing my own research for this video, you will take control of Aran Delira. He's essentially a hardened warrior on a mission to overthrow a tyrannical queen with the ability to turn metal into stone. This means that traditional weaponry here is absolutely useless, and we must actually rely on forged custom weaponry during our playtime. With over 50 new enemy types, a brutal dismemberment system, a companion sorcerer providing us with support, and so much more, every battle here requires precise attacks and strategic movement. It is coming to Xbox on the 22nd of May and is already drawing comparisons to God of War, but with its own signature combat mechanics and weapon crafting. 505 has also promised that Blades of Fire will stand out as one of the year's most anticipated action games, and there will be a demo launching onto the Xbox Store very soon. As a bit of an interesting one today, Dear Villagers have announced that the high-speed open-world action game called Star Overdrive will be released on both the Xbox Series X and S consoles on the 19th of June, and personally, I can't wait. It's been out a little while now over on Switch and also PC to some rave reviews, with many calling it Zelda but with a hoverboard. As mentioned, you will travel the world on a hoverboard, gaining tricks to boost our speed. There are also various abilities and powers for us to use alongside leveraging physics to maximize our capabilities. From doing a bit more research for this video, there does seem to be combat also present, implementing the same powers, and it looks pretty decent. The world seems to be pretty large as well for this indie adventure, and it will let us explore 3 distinct biomes, each with unique landscapes, creatures and hidden challenges. I can't wait to try out this new indie adventure, and I'll bring you my review sometime nearer to launch. If you loved the original Sinking City, well, I have some good news for you, as the Sinking City 2 is still set to launch sometime later in 2025. As per the first entry, this is a very story-rich survival horror game set in Lovecraftian 1920s United States. It actually takes place in the infamous city of Arkham, now plagued by a supernatural flood that has brought decay and eldritch monsters into its streets. The developers have stated on a few occasions that you'll face numerous eldritch abominations in combat, alongside exploring a rotting city as the rising waters change the landscape. You will also have to discover what sort of dark mysteries have brought you to this forsaken place. Of course, and to be expected with this game, it will feature a new standalone story separate from the one told in the original game, with the promise of being more in-depth and a lot darker in its tone. Unlike the Sinking City 1 though, which was a detective adventure with a horror flavour, the sequel is a full-scale survival horror game with emphasis on combat and exploration in a larger open world. The sands of Arrakis finally await, as Dune Awakening is transporting us to one of the most iconic science fiction universes ever created. This survival MMO will throw us into the harsh deserts of Arrakis, where every drop of water is precious and survival demands both cunning and also strategy. You'll be facing challenges here ranging from massive sandstorms that can bury entire camps to deadly sandworms that rule the dunes. What sets this game apart though is its freedom that it really offers. You can align with the Freemen, battle for control of spice, or just forge your own path through alliances and rivalries. There seems to be pretty in-depth base building mechanics as well, which will allow you to create safe havens amidst the treacherous terrain, whilst resource management and combat systems force you to think critically about every single move. With that mix of exploration, political intrigue and survival gameplay, Dune Awakening will immerse you in a world full of danger and wonder, and the world looks absolutely massive. Now, Hollow Knight Silksong is the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed Hollow Knight, and although it's not your traditional massive open world game, the game will still promise to take us deeper into the depths of the Dithin Caverns. Alongside diving into the vast, beautiful world filled with deadly enemies and hidden secrets, we will also have to use our new unique abilities and combat skills with a new character this time called Hornets. The game looks to feature challenging combat, intricate platforming and deep lore that expands the Hollow Knight universe we all know and love. Silksong though promises to be an epic Metroidvania experience that fans will really love, and we are ready to delve into the darkness and uncover the mysteries of this enchanting world when it comes to Xbox Game Pass sometime this year. I know we are still waiting for more details, gameplay and a fixed date for Team Cherry, but I'm still hopeful that we'll hear something more at the Xbox Showcase this June. What open world are you excited to dive into? Let me know down below, and remember to like the video if you enjoyed. As always, do subscribe as well for more Xbox content, as I do upload every single day, that being news, reviews and updates for everything within the Xbox camp. Whilst here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I covered the 20 best games available on Xbox Game Pass in May 2025. There are some amazing games here on this list that you definitely need to check out.